Good morning, little one.
Hey, Papa, what are we gonna do today?
Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do, son?
Oh, I want to count the stars. Let's see if I can get a higher number today.
Sure. Let's give it a try.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Papa, what's that sound?
Oh, let me listen.
Is that a mining ship? Papa, are we safe?
Yes, of course. Just now hold still. Remember what I taught you?
Ow! He shot me. Papa, it hurts.
It's going to be fine, son. Just hang in there.
Ow, again? Why is he shooting me, Papa?
Minor, please, leave him alone. He's just a little crocite.
Papa, I'm fading. But I don't want to go.
Hang on. Stop. Wait. No!
Hello pilots, and welcome back to another Eve Echoes video. I'm Gromeyer, and I have landed my filament here in Paragon Sol, a system that is highly populated, and we've got a Rorqual on our scanner here. So we're going to warp in here and see how much damage that we can do. Meanwhile, as we're warping, we're going to check the system for other targets. We got an APOC Navy there and a Phoenix, so something to be aware of in case we need to warp off. But we'll warp in on this Rorqual here and see how much damage we can do. Today we're in our Megathron Navy Issue and we're hunting some big targets, trying to see if we can get a nice solid kill mail out of this ship. Now normally a Rorqual is going to be too tanky for me to take on solo, but you never know how they're going to fit their ship. Might be a first time pilot, so let's warp in here and check it out. Let's go ahead and lock up the target as we land. Doesn't look like he's warped off. Okay, lock on. Oh, disappeared. Well, he didn't warp off, so he might actually be running a cloak. Let's go up and open up our scanner here. There he is still on the scanner. Let's approach from the last scan that we pulled up, turn on our micro warp drive, and see if we can bump him out of cloak. The Rorquals are not going to be too fast, so he's not going to be able to move very far away from his original location. Let's get going here. Oh! Yes. So we do have a cloaking Rorqual here. That's going to mean he's given up one of his low slots to fit a cloaking device, so we might actually be able to put on some good DPS to this target. Let's go ahead and start hitting his shield. Usually Rorquals are going to be shield tank ships, so we'll see if we can get through his shield and into his armor. Oh, chunking him really nice there. 32,000, 42,000. Woo, this Megathron Navy is really taking him down. We've got that lower resist with the high power coil implant. 34,000 hit there. Ooh, we're about halfway through shields. This is looking good, guys. Let's take him down. Hasn't even locked us on yet. Another 26,000 hit, 34,000. Oh boy, guys. Oh, this is great. Oh, 77,000 into armor. Okay, he's into armor. Let's see. Should be able to do more damage.
We're under
Okay, well, he's locked onto us here. He's got the drones. I'm not too worried about the drones, because I think they're just small drones.
Attack.
Yeah, definitely not going to be able to DPS us down with these drones, but he does have a large neutralizer on us, so we are going to lose capacitor over time. I do have a reduced amount of capacitor because I just filamented into this system, so I started with 50%, so that's going to kind of hurt us here, but I don't think he's going to be able to wear us down with just that one neutralizer. We should be about even. All I'm doing is using my scramblers, my web, and my weapons. We're not running a repairer on here. We're just going with some passive tank, and he's not applying a whole lot of DPS to us. We are wearing him down over time, but it looks like this Rorqual is a complete tease here because he is armor tanked. It's because they're doing a lot less damage into his armor than we were into his shield. Now, typically when I warp in on these things, I think that they're shield tank. That's why I got so excited seeing how much damage we were going to do with those large hits into his shield. But now that we're in armor, you can see we're only doing about 12 to 20,000 per hit. Our mag stabs are on cooldown. We can't really keep up our high power coil implant without the extra DPS mods going. And while I think we are winning the overall battle here for DPS versus tank, we should be able to wear him down, but there's 14 people in this system, so we got to be very wary. Plus we scanned down that Phoenix bodyguard earlier, that APOC Navy. We got to be very careful that something doesn't warp in here and try to take us out in one shot. Always wary of this. Oh, there we go. See, just as I was saying, let's go ahead and hit that autopilot to our safe spot. We'll turn off that siege mode right before the cycle ends. And within about 5 seconds, we should be able to warp off. We'll pop our DCU just in case he gets a couple of hits on us. And yeah, it looks like we're safe. So, man, what a tease that Rorqual. Almost had him.
I actually fucking tried. And that's more than most people ever do. And I will never apologize for how I tried.
Moving on to our next target here, we are scanning down a one signal target. It's a Bhaalgorn. This is over in Esoteria, so we're going to warp in on this Bhaalgorn and see if we can DPS it down. Now, Bhaalgorns usually don't have a severe amount of tank. You can see I scan here. There's nobody else in this system. The thing that we want to watch out for is not to get webbed at a distance, because we do have those snub nose rifled in the rifled railguns in the top slots. So we don't want to be too far away from our target. We'll try to get really close with that micro warp drive, stick underneath his guns, and DPS him down quickly before he has a chance to NOS or neutralize us and run out of our capacitor. Landed a little bit too far away from this target here. Looks like he's on the other side of the anomaly, and we are on the other side with most of the rats. Hopefully we don't get too much aggro from these rats, but with our micro warp drive, we should be able to warp over to him or scoot over to him real quick within scrambler range. I have a feeling this guy is AFK because he hasn't warped off yet, and you can see how long it takes us to get over to our target. This isn't my Fiend where I have that 29-kilometer bubble that I can just throw up and get a nice orbit going. I got to get within 14 kilometers in order for these scramblers and web to get attached. But we got it on now. We can turn off our micro warp drive and we can just sit on top of him 2 or 3 shots and he's gone. Like I said, not a whole lot of tank when we're throwing out 22,000 DPS with our Navy. Okay, we scooped up the loot and we should have enough warp stability to get away from these NPCs and break through it. I did fit some warp stability rigs in the engineering side just so that I wouldn't be tackled by any ships in case I wanted to get away. So we kind of forfeited our hyperspatial rigs for extra warp speed in order to get those warp optimization and be able to warp away more often. A little bit safer build for this playthrough. Okay, so even though when I scanned everybody seemed to be docked up besides that Bhaalgorn, we should be pretty safe, but I did set an autopilot over to a safe location just so we can open up the kill mail and see how much we got. I never like to have screens open up blocking my interface when I'm out in open space. So we'll go ahead and warp over to that safer location here and check out the kill mail and see what we got. Not too bad, 3.5 billion for the Bhaalgorn. What's interesting about this is that I think he had enough warp stability to warp away. But let's see if he was AI ratting. No, see, he's only got the purple core. So he wasn't AI ratting, and he did have warp core optimizers, just didn't warp away. On to our next filament here. We've landed in Quirius, and we're scanning down a target. We've got a second Rorqual. So this is going to be round 2. It's going to be another chance for us to redeem ourselves and see if we can burst down a Rorqual. We have a little bit less players in the system, but I do think that we're in kind of a hostile territory here. I know I've checked out this system and this corporation before, and they're pretty aggressive with being able to get on top of you if you do have something tackled. So something we have to be very wary of, especially because we're trying to take on a Rorqual. Those things are going to take forever for a solo player to try and take out. But I still want to try and test out my overall DPS, see if we can burst something down, and you never know, they might be a glass fit Rorqual, somebody who's, like I said before, just flying out there for the first time. Oh, see that special effect there? That's the special effect that shows us that this Rorqual is going to be using the Beaver mod. And if you take a look at the actual description for that mod, not only is it going to give him a defense boost, so we're going to do a lot less damage to him while he has it active, but it is a very expensive mod. So if we are able to take this guy out, burst him down through his armor, kind of get through his... Ooh, you can see. Okay, this one is fit a lot more defensively than the last Rorqual that we warped in on. Doing a lot less damage here. Even though we got 3 of our mag stabs on, we're only hitting for about 20,000. We are kind of wearing him down over time though. So if he is more resistant in his shield and we're able to get through that, we might be able to put out some pretty good DPS once we get into his armor. So we'll continue to take this down here. You can see that extra defense boost that mod, the beaver mod, gives him. All right, now we got our implant active. We're hitting a little bit harder, reducing his resistance as we fire. Down to about half shield here, looking pretty good. Our mag stabs are going to run off now, and they're going to be on a long cooldown, so it's going to be hard to maintain that same level of DPS now that we're going through here. Not sure if he popped a DCU or something in order to reduce that damage. That should be up if he did. If he still has it active, then there's no way we're going to break through his tank here. Let's see if he has any kind of reps once he starts to get lower in shield. Hopefully not running any reps. He doesn't target us back, so he doesn't have a neutralizer like the last one did. He's not sending out any drones to try and take us out. So we're just getting some free shots on this Rorqual. Let's see, maybe he's just passive resist. Maybe he's just full on passive resist. Nope. Oh, there's the little tick there of the shield. And let's see if he can warp. Yep, there it goes, popping right back up to full. Yeah, this is why a lot of people can't take out these Rorquals. Rorquals, man, that is hard to say when they're solo. Maybe if I had more DPS, still a lot of room to grow. I still want to try and shoot up to that 30,000 DPS benchmark that I've seen somebody else running with. Maybe at that point we're able to burst through some of these ships, but whew, now we're just gonna have to try and wait out his capacitor and hope that nobody else is in this system to warp in on us and help. Now, somebody had suggested before using a large newt instead of a second scrambler, but I think because of the natural warp stability that the Rorqual and the Orcas have, I kind of have to run 2 scramblers in order to hold on to these ships. So while I would like to have a large newt in this build to fend off slashers, you know, interceptor tackles, or be able to wear down the capacitor. Oh boy, okay, nope, that's a misclick. Okay, autopilot, let's go, let's go, let's go. We got a capital ship dropping on us here. Definitely going to be more offensive than this Rorqual, and we're probably not going to be able to finish it off anyway, especially from this far out. Come on, siege mod is off. Let's warp away. And capital ship landed, but we're gone. Okay, just enough time to get away. So another unfortunate experience trying to take out these massive HP Rorquals. That one was definitely much more tanky fit than the first one we popped earlier, probably because it didn't have a cloaking device attached to it. And the beaver mod probably helped out a lot on the defense. Once you have that beaver mod active, it does give you a defensive boost to the ship. So we'll go ahead and set our autopilot for our next target, see if we can get out of here safely and find something else to fight. Probably should have scanned down the gate here to double check that there wasn't a bubble on it, but we'll just go and try and power our way through if there is. And then maybe if there is some kind of a interdictor, like a heavy interdictor there, maybe we can burst that down as we head out. I do have some good warp stability, so I'm not too worried if we land on anything. Okay, yep, we got a ship right here. Looks like an Annihilator, so we got another large railgun ship here. You know what, let's go ahead and give this a go. My mag stabs are almost off cooldown. I want to see if we can burst it down. You can see he's shooting the gate there to try and charge up probably his HPC implant as well. So he's going to have a lot of DPS coming at us, but we should be, I want to see if we can burst this thing down. Let's get double scram and web, get out to our optimal and put on our siege mode, because it doesn't look like he's moving around a whole lot. And we'll go ahead and activate all 3 of those mag stabs. Let's get our implant going and let's see if we can burst this thing down. Man, okay, that is not as much DPS. Maybe he has his DCU active. Let's turn off that siege mode. I'm not liking siege mode on this guy. Maybe he's moving around just enough, or maybe our scrambler gave us a little bit too much speed. Okay, that's a little bit more DPS. Getting some straight shots on him. Okay, not too bad. Looks like we're winning the DPS race here, so that's pretty good. We'll see if he has a repper. Remember, we're just completely passive tank here. I just got that 1 yellow hardener on here, although the Navy does get some bonus to resist, so we should be pretty good. And I do have a level 37 defensive implant, so we might be able to win this DPS race if we can just hold out and take this guy 1 versus 1. No, we've got something landing on us here. What is this? I can't even tell what ship this is, but it's definitely going to be no good. We are going down a lot faster now, and there come the fighters. Oh my gosh. All right. You know what? I guess we'll never know. We'll never know who would have won that fight. In hindsight, yes, I probably should not have engaged that ship on the gate after a capital ship just landed on me while fighting that Rorqual in the same system, but sometimes you just got to roll the dice. and take the chance and see what happens. A lot of my experimentation is done on the fly, so trying to see if I could burst down that Annihilator, that did not go as well as I wanted it to. Checking out the lost mail here. Yeah, 2200 IP to replace this ship. And the worst part is I was warp stable. Okay, we have rebuilt our Megathron Navy, and I am still looking for a capital ship kill here. These are my primary targets with this ship because that siege mode is going to help us deal enough DPS to them, and I'm hoping I can catch one on a fleet anomaly. That means that their drones are going to be 500 kilometers away from them, so we might be able to burst it down before its drones get over to us. Looks like we got an Angel fleet rally here for this Science C. Let's go ahead and warp in to the anomaly, and as we land on it, we're going to try and warp to that ship because likely this thing is doing it at about 500 kilometers away for safety. So as my ship approaches the anomaly, we're just going to keep hitting that warp button, and as soon as we land, we're going to automatically warp to the last location where we scan down this ship. Keep hitting warp, keep hitting warp. Gosh, I wish I had those hyperspatial rigs at this point. Okay, now we go. Start warping here. You can see we should be able to warp off before any of these NPCs grab onto us. Yeah, about 5 seconds for our warp away time, not too bad, but unfortunately the Science C has docked up, so we weren't able to get to him quick enough. Looks like he wasn't sleeping while ratting like I was hoping, but this is not actually, you know what, this isn't that bad of a location. What we can actually do now is we can wait out our combat timer and we can log out right at this spot. Because we're over 500 kilometers away from the rats, they're not going to move, they're not going to try and chase us and shoot us down, they're not even going to be able to aggro onto us. That's why these capital ships run these anomalies in this way, is because they can pretty much take them out without any fear or consequences whatsoever. So, but what we can do is we can log out at this spot, which is probably the bookmark that this Science C has set himself, and then when we come back from our logout, maybe 15-20 minutes, hopefully he's still running it. The other good thing is that he's alone in this system, so it means that he's going to be all by himself if we're able to catch him. If we take a look at the amount of rats that have actually spawned as well, we can notice that it's one of the first waves for this fleet anomaly, so he's likely going to come back and try to finish this. And one of the reasons that we can tell that is because only one capital ship has spawned. There's only 3 fighters out there waiting to be killed. So as soon as this combat timer ends, we will go ahead and log out. You can see here as I open up the loot tab, still got a lot of wrecks, but there's only a Nidhogger wreck there, so we definitely know he was on the first wave, almost over to the second wave here. Okay, so we'll log out right here. Yeah, should be pretty good. So all we have to do here is open up our settings and hit quit, and in 5 seconds we're going to warp off to a random location. And when we come back after about 15 minutes, we should warp right back on top of this Science C.
Drive active.
Alright, logging back in here. I did take about 20 minutes, I think, from the original time, just because I knew it was on wave 1. So let's warp in here with our ship here. Remember, it's going to automatically warp us to that last known location that we were at. We don't even have to go from center anomaly to the ship. Let's see if we can land right on top of him. Okay, still here. Nice, nice. That means he came back. Let's go ahead and lock onto him here. We are right on top of this Science C. Let's go, lock on, lock on, lock on. Oh, we're locking on. Okay, get the scramblers going. Oh! That was it, guys. That was my chance to finally catch a Science C. He was right there, and I didn't have the hyperspatial rigs fit, so our warp time was just a little too slow. So let's go ahead and find another system here. We'll move on and do our little walk of shame after missing our target here, because I don't think he's going to come back and fall for this again.
Warp drive active.
Okay, I have fit the hyperspatial rigs to this ship, so we're never having that issue again. Definitely going with those from now on. I don't want to have those missed opportunities, and it looks like we're scanning out on target here, but he's not there anymore. We'll check the next signal. 2 noise signals, probably too small. Probably something watching the gate. We'll skip that one, go to the next one. Let's see, 1 signal here. Maelstrom. Okay, that's definitely a target that we can warp in on. Usually those things are fighting at a distance, so we'll warp in at 100, and hopefully he's fighting at a long range. It's kind of 50-50 if he's going to be using autocannons up close or at range. So we'll warp in at range, and hopefully we're over 150 kilometers away from him. Maybe he's on the other side of the anomaly, and we can do a secondary warp to him that's a lot faster than slow boating him with our micro warp drive. And this is one of the problems with using a Megathron Navy instead of a smaller ship to hunt, is just the warp time. Even with those hyperspatial rigs, takes so long to get on top of your target. You kind of have to hope that they're AFK. All right, well, he's still here, so we're warping in here. We're underneath 150, so we're not going to be able to warp to him again. And, oh, looks like he's going to take off. Okay, well, we missed our chance there. But, actually, now that I look at it, there were no NPCs left in this anomaly. So it's possible that he is just AI ratting. And we can go ahead and scan again and see if he landed in a different location. Because if he's AI ratting and just warped off, then he's not even going to be reacting to us landing in the spot. He's actually just going to be warping to another anomaly. So we'll do another scan here for this noise signal. Okay, not there. Gonna have to wait a little bit. Let's check out this one. That's the 2 signal, so we don't want that. Let's try this noise signal. Okay, that's just the outpost. Okay, maybe I scanned a little bit too early. It's possible he's still warping. Let's do another scan just in case. The system is pretty empty, so I'm not too worried about any aggro here. Let's check out the 1 noise signal scan real quick. Okay, there he is. Yeah, so like I said, he probably just warped off to another anomaly. Definitely AI ratting, not reacting to us in the system at all. So we'll warp over to this anomaly and see if we can catch him this time. This is why it pays to really be aware of your surroundings, kind of understand the mechanics, how everything works, noticing that there were no NPCs left in that anomaly, and that's more likely what caused him to warp off than us landing 92 kilometers away. Kind of gives us a good indication that he's probably not actually at the computer or screen at this time. So we can go ahead and take advantage of this and see if we can catch ourselves an AI ratter in this anomaly. And like I thought, a little bit up close here, we're going to land right on top of him and get within range for our snub nose and our scrambler to go to work. Okay, we can turn on our DPS mods. We'll kind of stagger them a little bit at first, just because I don't know how tanky this guy is going to be. So we'll turn on 1 for now and kind of build up that implant. And actually, you know what, for a shield tank ship, he's going down pretty quick. So let's just turn everything on and get our full DPS into this thing and take him out as fast as we can. We don't need any warp stability rigs going off here. Charge up a little bit more. Yeah, he's going down real easy. Definitely AFK. He's not locking onto us at all. Just going through these rats. Let's turn on both of our mag stabs in the low slots. Pump up our DPS really quick. Nice 38,000 hit there and finish him off. Okay, nice easy kill there for an AFK ship. Okay, so they do exist. They're a little bit more rare than I thought they were when I was using my interceptor, but there are still people out here running these anomalies, AI, AFK, overnight or while they're at break from work or something like that. So it does still exist, and they are still out here. You just got to be aware of how to find them. Okay, the second person in the system is probably that 2 noise signal, so it's probably just watching a gate. Let's go ahead and open up the kill mail, see what we got. 2.6 billion, not too bad. Just a regular battleship running AI, trying to make a little extra ISK on the side. All right, we grabbed his loot. Let's go ahead and send the kill mail over to the Alliance, get a little share going on. Check out his fit real quick. Run 3 NOS, definitely AI ratting. All right, let's head out and find another target. Continuing our way through Delve here, we're still in the same region with the same ship. We're scanning down a rattlesnake. So I'm going ahead and warp in on this rattlesnake. I definitely think I could take a rattlesnake. I'm not too worried about that. So we'll warp in here and we'll scan down another target. Oh, we got a Cobra in the same system. That might be a little bit of an issue if that warps in on us. We'll do another scan here, see if there's anybody else ratting. Science C. Okay, I really wish I would have warped in on the Science C first, not the rattlesnake, but you know what? Already on our way to the target. Let's see if we can catch him before he warps off. And again, this is something I'm really trying to get into the habit of doing, is doing those multiple scans in the system so I can kind of check and see who else is here, and I know what ships are going to be around. And that way I know that I don't have to watch the local list to see if something pops up. I can already kind of have an idea of the ships that people are running. So looks like this rattlesnake has warped off. We'll go ahead and check that Science C signature. Maybe he's a little bit overconfident. We'll go ahead and warp in on him, see if we can try and take him out. and we'll actually click on the anomaly in space, the one that's glowing. So it looks like it's an Inquisitor anomaly, so that's something to be aware of as well, what type of anomaly you're warping in on. It's not going to be a fleet anomaly, so we don't have to worry about capital ships bursting us down, but because of that Inquisitor, it is going to have a gate that we're going to have to go through in order to try and get to the ship, and likely he's going to be right sitting on 0 if he's still there. That's going to pose a little bit of a problem for us because we want him to be at a distance and we want to tackle him away from his drones. But you know what, we'll go ahead and try our luck. Maybe this is a glass fit Science C like I like to hope for always, and we'll go through these gates and see if we can get a good tackle. Okay, first gate here. This is going to have 2 gates for us to go through. I know a lot of people like to skip that first room where the NPCs are and just go straight to the box room. So even if there's going to be NPCs there, we'll go ahead and skip it as well and just go straight to the last room. Either he's going to be still fighting, or maybe he's already done a little bit of clearing on it. We can kind of finish it off and loot those boxes. That's always something that I try to do. A lot easier to do that in a Megathron Navy than it is in my Fiend as well. So go ahead and hit this gate here, warp through it. As you can see, the rats are still there, so it looks like whoever was running this probably completely skipped it and went to the 3rd room. I don't think a Science C would leave anything behind if he wasn't going to go straight to the 3rd room. Okay, so let's warp in here, see what we got. Always a gamble when you're running these things. You never know exactly what you're going to run into. Okay, so Science C is not here, but also there's no NPCs here. That means he's probably already cleared this out. Let's go ahead and open up the loot and see what we can pick up. We've got some elite wrecks that we can pick up. Looks like he just warped off because he saw us enter the system. So let's get up this elite wrecks. Let's see if the boxes are unlocked as well. They should be unlocked because I don't see any rats here. But let's see if he looted them before we got here. Oh no, we got some loot in the boxes. Very nice. Okay. Sometimes these Inquisitors can be pretty valuable. I know I've gotten, anywhere from 20 million to like 500 million from an Inquisitor. So let's go ahead and loot all these boxes before anybody comes back to this and see if we can get a good score here. I'm going to be a little bit slower in my ship because I'm using a large micro warp drive. I think I top out at around 1100 ms as opposed to my Fiend, which would be a lot faster to do this in. But, we got to work with what we got here, and I definitely don't want to pass up on these boxes and this loot opportunity. So let's go ahead and pick up this second box here. See if you got this one. Not more loot. Okay, that's a nice little tier 3 blueprint there. That's probably pretty valuable. Let's go over here. Okay, got a lot of time to kill here, and still nobody warping in on us. Nobody else entering local here. It has been a pretty quiet night. You can see on my time there, it's about midnight right now for my time, for US time. But I haven't really noticed anybody out in Delve here besides these 3 in this system, and I think they're probably all docked up. Let's go ahead and hit this next box here, see if we got anything good. Yeah, that's not too good. Nothing really valuable in that box. But we're about halfway through here, and we want to try and pick up all these things. I'm more focused on the boxes than the wrecks. I know the elite loot can be kind of valuable, but we'll pick up that last because some of these blueprints are pretty valuable as well. I'm going to rescan the system, see if anybody's undocked, see if we can get a read on whatever ship they're using, analyze the first signal. Let's see what we got. 1 signal. Okay, yeah, no, everybody's docked up, so nobody's undocking, nobody's reshipping to try and get us out of this system. I'm not sure if they know what ship I'm in, but we'll just continue to pick up this loot if they're going to give it. That's kind of one of the things that I tried to mention in a few videos ago is, if somebody enters your system, you should probably try to form up some kind of group and fend them off. Otherwise, they're just going to take all your stuff. And this is the perfect example. You saw when I entered the system, I scanned down Rattlesnake, Cobra, and Science C. And I've been in the system now for about 5 minutes, and everybody's just stocked up. Nobody's reshipping. Like everybody likes to say, oh, I was just going to reship and go out and try and find you and fight you. Nobody's reshipping. And I'm just over here wandering through this Inquisitor that's already been finished picking up the loot. Nobody's trying to scan me down and tackle me or anything. I've got over 500 million in my inventory now from this Inquisitor. So, I don't know what to tell you guys. You can dock up all you want, I guess. But we'll just continue to make our way to our boxes. I think we got about 2 more boxes left. We'll see what we get from the loot here. And we're already over 500 million, so this is definitely a profitable run. I'll probably just try to filament out of here after this with whatever I got, because I just don't want to try and pass through other stations. It's possible they're setting up a gate camp for me on the other side of this system. It's always possible. But that's one of the reasons why I have the filaments available, so I can kind of get around. If I do end up with any good loot, I can kind of filament out and find an NPC station and drop it off over there. So let's pick up this box here. Okay, got some more blueprints. Let's go ahead and head over to the last box. That's about 55 kilometers away. It's gonna take a little time, so I'll open up my inventory and we'll see what we got.
And you can't please let go. What you want from me? What you want from me?
Oh my god, payday. Payday. Okay, we got a slasher here. Okay, now the slasher shows up. Now that we have 6 billion in our inventory. Okay, let's go ahead and hit our autopilot here and try to warp away. Hopefully he's not going to tackle us. Definitely one of the things that I'm weak against without a large nuke. Oh, no, he's just gonna warp away. All right, well, let's go ahead and take off with this loot here. 6 billion. Oh, this is a little intimidating here. I'm not even gonna go for that last box. No, let's just warp away. We're gonna warp to safety, filament out, and get this thing into a safe location. Oh boy. Oh, somebody warped away from a huge payday there. Okay, the system isn't spiking at all, and it looks like we just got the same amount of people in the local list besides that one in the slasher, which I don't think he scanned me down. I think he just was going there to check on the loot and pick up what he had already finished off. That's probably the an alternate ship for the Science pilot here. So we'll warp over to the planet at a good location. We'll just immediately pop our filament and try to get out of here as fast as we can. Oh yeah, there it is, 6.7 billion. Let's go ahead and use one of the orange filaments because that's going to put us in a system that has no other players in it. Okay, still warping. Come on, Needlejack. There we go. Construction set. Let's go ahead. And you know what? I'm going to link that blueprint in local for the Science pilot to realize what he left behind here. There's a little bit of pettiness on my part, but I'm having fun with it. There you go. That's what you missed on. See you, buddy. Thank you very much. Oh crap! Filament failed because I don't have enough capacitor because I was using my micro warp drive trying to pick up those boxes. Okay, that's something to be aware of. Kind of a stupid mistake here. Let's get the hell out of this system. Get a little bit of capacitor back so we can pop our filament again. Oh my gosh! Probably shouldn't have taunted in local there. Oh, now he knows. Now he knows there's something in my inventory. He's gonna want to try and track me down. Okay, that was probably a stupid move on my part. All right, let's head over to the next system over. Again, nobody's engaging, but there could be a gate camp on the other side, but we're gonna have to go ahead and risk it at this point. I don't want to sit out in open space, and my capacitor is recharging a little bit too slow for me to just be sitting there. Let's go ahead and hover over to this next system. Yeah, nobody on the gate, so that's good. Again, they're not trying to stop me from moving around. Oh yeah, there it is. There's your loot. It's leaving right now. Okay, let's enter this next system here. It looks like, according to the local list, it's going to be an empty system, but sometimes that populates late, so let's just be a little bit cautious. And yes, perfect. Okay, empty system here. We'll go ahead and warp off to a planet or some other location. Let's go to the Ansible X gate just because I don't even care. It's either the Ansible X gate or the sun. I was just trying to get somewhere real quick because I don't want anybody chasing me down or following me at this point. Let's just go over here. Now we should be at our capacitor range. We're going to light that filament and get the hell out. Scanning down our next target here, we're going to scan down a 1 noise signal in period basis. It is an Orca, so we're going to warp in on this Orca here, see if we can take him down. We'll do a double scan, see if there's anything else in the system. Looks like nobody else is out here ratting or mining, and there's not a lot of names on the local list, so we should be pretty safe to warp in on this Orca, and hopefully we can get to him before he warps off. I'll say the way that the local list is now, that is probably the hardest and most challenging part of our fights, or of people trying to do PvP out in nullsec, is getting to somebody before they warp off. The go-to strategy is to just dock up when somebody enters local. So anytime you can land on a ship like this and get him locked up before he warps away, that's when you know you're in a good spot. Oh, and I do think he is running the Beaver mod as well. So if we can take out this Orca, we might be in for a second huge payday. Let's go ahead and get our DPS activated. We'll throw on our reactive hardener just in case. And I'm going to pace my DPS mods a little bit here. Instead of using them all up at the same time, I'm going to stagger it just a little bit so I can have some speed recharge on that high power coil implant for a longer period of time. So after he gets about halfway through on the first one, I'm going to activate the second one, and I'll do the same for the third as well, just to have as much uptime on that extra weapon speed as possible. You notice this Orca is a lot more defensive than most Orcas that I fought before. That's because that beaver mod running is going to give it a lot of a defensive boost. Plus, I'm pretty sure it's very tanked out in the low slots here. It's not locking back onto me, so we don't have to worry about any drones or any neutralizers, so that's pretty good. And even with his extra defensive boost, we are about halfway through his shields with our damage mods still going. So that's a good spot to be in. That means we're making really good progress. I haven't seen any reps on him or an extender at this point. Okay, there's the extender as I say it out loud. It happens, of course. So we're going to have to try and burst through him a little bit. I'm thinking about activating my siege mode. Yeah, let's go ahead and turn that on because I don't like the lower DPS that I'm getting without the damage mods active. Hopefully this guy is just going to be stationary, sitting still, and our siege mode is going to give us just enough DPS to tap out through his shields. Since I'm holding completely still and we've got this Orca holding pretty much completely still, that siege mode should be giving us a DPS boost. The worst case scenario is when the target's going to be moving around just a little bit, and then you're not going to want to have that siege mode active because it's going to lower your tracking so much it's not going to actually impact your DPS in a positive way. But this is a perfect scenario where we got a battleship that's pretty much staying still. Our snub nose are doing a great job here. We're going to pop our high power coil implant just because I want to get through his shields. You'll notice as soon as we get into his armor, a lot more damage going into his armor. Ooh, nice hit there. And we're getting real close here. Okay, turn off that siege mode because I want to be able to warp away or pick up loot if I need to. And I think that now that we're into his hull, I don't need the extra DPS boost from the siege mode. I'd rather be a little bit more mobile just in case. So, okay, let's go. He's still got that beaver running. Come on, take him out. This could be another huge payday. Those things are worth like 25 billion on the market. Let's go. A couple more hits here. Definitely glad I have the second scrambler at this point. Looks like we got him. He's now warping off. Nobody's entering local. Take him down. Come on. Nice. Okay, we got it. Let's open up that loot. Let's see what we got. Come on. Oh, we got some mining drones. And more drones. Oh, we didn't get it to drop. That's disappointing. Still pretty valuable loot with the mining drones, though. I think it was about 1.8 billion overall. So definitely a valuable kill here. We do have +1 in local, even though I popped the pod, so that player is going to be gone. But we're going to have to watch out for anybody warping off and trying to tackle us. So we'll go over to this planet, check out the kill mail. Yeah, about 2 billion in the loot. Not too bad. Yeah, not counting the filaments, of course. Those add value. We'll get to a safe location if we can find a good open space spot now that we've set our bookmark. And on our way with this warp, I really want to check out the kill mail on this one because that we know he had the beaver mod and those things are so valuable. This is probably a really good kill mail. Let's go ahead and set our autopilot to a safe location. Yeah, I don't have, there we go. Set a bookmark in open space. And now that we've set that autopilot, I can go ahead and click on that autopilot. And once we land, we'll go travel to that. So I should be pretty safe. Let's open up combat. Oh, there it is. Yeah, baby. 31 billion. Nice kill. One of my best kills ever. And we did see that beaver mod on this ship. So, man, definitely tanky. He was running 3 adapters, 1 reactive, and an extender. So that's why it took so long to take him out. But yeah, very nice. Even though we didn't get the drop, one of my best kills so far. And since we did get a little bit of a stockpile of loot here from those mining drones, I'll go ahead and warp around and wait for the combat timer to run out, filament out, and get a secure location for that loot as well. We are on a roll with our loot and kill mails here, so let's keep it going. One more clip. I'm out here in NEE space in Catch. And I'm just kind of warping around, looking for dead ends, looking for systems that might have some people ratting or mining, some pocket systems that I can kind of check out. For the most part, I found this area to be pretty empty, so I'll probably filament out soon. But as I close out that screen, I noticed that we got a Serpentis Lieutenant in local. Not sure if he's following us or if he's going to warp through the same gate as us as we land here, but we'll kind of wait on the other side and see if he's coming in the same direction. Now, I dropped my faction wargames label so that I could see people's names in space, and you can see mine now. You can see it as Gromire. But I noticed that whenever you see those red names, those Serpentis or faction names, they're probably PvP hunters out here roaming around. So definitely somebody who's probably looking for an engagement or looking for a fight. So we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and move back to the gate just so we can be on top of it in case something big comes through and we just want to warp through right away. Yep, there we go. Serpentis Lieutenant. So he is definitely going in the same direction as us. Could be just an Atron, could be a travel scepter or something like that. But we'll wait for the blue streak and we'll see what pops through on the other side here. I'm going to leave my micro warp drive on just in case I need to catch something real quick. And we'll see if he pops out of cloak. Oh, yep. Okay, we got a cruiser here. This is an enforcer. Let's go ahead and try and get within range. He does look like he's going to be within range of our scrambler. If we can get that on real quick, we can slow him down to a halt and get some nice straight shots on him. All right, double scram and a web. Very nice. He's within our range. Pretty close to our optimal on our snub nose, so we're going to get some good hits here. We're going to activate all 3 of our damage mods, but unfortunately he does have us scrambled, so we're not going to be able to use our micro warp drive. Really wish I had a large afterburner at this point, because I think that would have done a lot better here than the micro warp drive being scrambled, obviously. And because this is an enforcer, it's going to have extra boost range to its scrambler and its web, so we're going to be nowhere near to tackling this thing. I'm going to turn off everything and try to get back through this gate. He is putting out a lot more DPS than I thought he would be able to do. Even with our DCU active, he's still taking us down here. Very impressive build on this enforcer. He's got 2 webs on us and a scram. We're about halfway through our armor, but our combat timer is coming down here. We should be able to get through this gate before he finishes us off. And then we should be good to go. He's still firing at us, so after we get through, we should be able to warp off and get through safety because he's still going to have that combat timer. Come on, there we go. All right, now we're safe. Good fight. Definitely did not have the range or the fit to fight that ship, but very impressive DPS.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Drive active.
And then I opened up the Alliance chat, and it looks like one of our Alliance members, Wanted One, was actually the disguised enforcer in that fight. So we were fighting one of our own allies. So regardless if one of us would have died, that would have been a really awkward kill mail to have 2 hunters out here on the same team running around and not knowing each other was on the same side. That's kind of one of the funny things about that disguise feature and running around with it, is you never know if one of your allies is going to be on the other side of that gate. But actually really funny because we were able to battle and nobody ended up losing anything, and it was actually just kind of a fun experience. So really good fight. Thank you, Wanted, for the fight, and good ship, honestly. Very tough enforcer to beat. All right, this is the part of the video where I tell you if you liked it, go ahead and leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit subscribe. Sometimes people think that they've subscribed, but they actually haven't. You'd be surprised. So go ahead and double check for me, and while you're there, go ahead and make sure that notifications are set to on so that you will get immediate notifications when I put out a new video, because I'm going to try to shoot out more videos coming up. They're going to be different topics, and I might take a little bit of a break from PvP to work on some other projects. That way I can save up some more ISK and get some more investment into my implants and my ship capabilities. If you have anything you really want to say, go ahead and drop it in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next Eve Echoes video.